2, 3, 4.
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it! Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it! Yeah! Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it!
Welcome back, yada yada listeners. This is episode 34.
Glad to be back. 34. The truth.
The truth. The wheelchair, as I like to call him sometimes.
The greatest. Here's something about Paul Pierce and the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
You would think they won like 15 championships for the Celtics. They won one
Correct.
in 2008.
With their big three.
Right. And then they never won another one. But they like always come back to the Celtics and they're always like involved and they always talk about
How they broke LeBron. You didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they did, clearly. Because he's not still playing at a high level.
And they locked him down. Easy.
Yeah. Easy. On the Cavs with Zydrunas Ilgauskas as his second best player.
I also love that LeBron's most famous poster is on, and one of his most famous posters is on Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
It's the, I can't remember what the commentator says, but I love that poster.
He has
With
no regard for human life.
Screen, Posey will defend. Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life!
It's such a great poster.
Yes, that is good. That is good.
But yes,
Yeah.
This is episode 34. And well, I guess that's a good segue into some sports topics there. The old Paul
Yeah,
Pierce.
so there's this tweet, I guess, X flying around,
Mhm.
and it is a not really a ranking, more of a what would you keep, what would you not keep, and it's of 9 major sporting events. Okay, so I'm going to read the 9 major sporting events for you, and you can only keep 3 of these. Okay?
Right.
So here they are in no particular order: March Madness, the NBA playoffs, the WNBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs, hockey, college football playoffs, NFL playoffs, MLB postseason, the College World Series, the Wimbledon, the World Cup, the Olympics, and the Masters. Okay, so that was a lot. So it's hard to remember if you're not paying attention. So here's obviously I'll go first, my take. WNBA's straight cut. World Cup, straight cut.
Interesting.
And that one might catch some flack because there's a lot of soccer people out there.
Right.
I am a sucker for the countries versus countries type thing. So I could see where the World Cup might come into play for a lot of people. But soccer, just not a soccer guy. The College World Series, don't really ever tune into that. Baseball, College World Series, so I'm going to cut that one. I'm cutting the NFL playoffs. Not a big NFL playoffs guy. Cutting the hockey Stanley Cup playoffs. It's growing on me, I will say. It is growing on me, especially with the recent events in American history with hockey, but just not quite there yet. So I'm left with the college football playoffs, or the college football playoff, I guess.
Okay.
The NBA playoffs.
Yes.
And then March Madness, the Olympics, and the Masters. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the college football playoff. I think it's a weird format right now, and I think it's in a bad place. And so I'm going to cut that, even though I'm a big college football guy. I do like me some college football in the fall. But I'm going to go ahead and cut that one. And I'm going to finish off my cut list with the NBA playoffs. I'm going to cut the NBA playoffs. And so the 3 sporting events, if I had to choose between those 9 major sporting events, The 3 that I would keep are the Olympics, the Masters, and March Madness.
Okay. We do not have the same ones.
I didn't think we would at all.
No, no. We do have a little bit of overlap though, because
yeah?
I'm with you on the Olympics. So
Okay.
I had the Olympics as one of the ones I kept. I mean, it's only every 4 years. Obviously, winter, summer alternating, but every 4 years, and there's just so many events that I don't have to watch all of it. I can tune into the ones I love, and you know what I mean. So I had the Olympics on there. I had the NBA playoffs. I know you're a bigger March Madness. You're a way bigger March Madness guy than I am. I don't watch a whole lot of college basketball. It's hard for me to keep up with. The teams change every year, and I don't pay attention really until it gets to March Madness, and then even then I'm only paying attention for some Cinderella stories here and there. I find here's my deal with March Madness. I know people, you know, rave about it being the best postseason possibly, which that's fine. But I think that it starts off very exciting, and then I feel like it gets less exciting as it goes for me. Like I think it starts off, it's like all this potential, all these crazy. Look at these 16 seeds doing all. You know what I mean? Like wow, who's going to be upset? And then as we keep going, I feel like you get those stories that are cool, but they start to die off a little bit. And I really find like the Final Four, I'm just kind of disinterested at that point. So that's just me. I prefer a good 7, best of 7 NBA playoff series. I think if you get 2 really good teams going back to back, throwing punches back and forth, it makes for some good basketball. And in general, I keep up with NBA more, and I like watching NBA basketball more. And so that's why I have the NBA playoffs there. So the Olympics, the NBA playoffs, and here's my hot take, and it's the reverse of your hot take, because I'm keeping the World Cup.
I thought you might.
Yeah, I'm keeping the World Cup. I'm not a huge soccer guy either, but I like the event. I like the excitement that it brings. I have a memory of the World Cup specifically. I was in my family took a trip to Universal Studios a few years back, maybe the last World Cup. I can't remember. But is the one where Messi, the Argentina won, I guess. So it must have been the last one, right?
I think so.
Yeah. But man, there was this huge, like right outside when you walk into Universal Studios in Florida, there's this huge screen, like this bigger than a movie theater screen. And there were people, just like a huge crowd of people just standing, looking up at the screen and watching the World Cup, all wearing Messi jerseys. Like it was just a really cool event. People from Argentina I got to talk with, just that were at Universal Studios watching the World Cup, which that was just a really cool memory for me. And it's also a sport that I want to be more into. Like I want to have a soccer team that I root for, and so that's why I have that here. So like hopefully eventually I can be more of a soccer fan. I feel like if I understood it more and I appreciated it more, then I'd probably enjoy watching it, for a full game. Because I can't say that I've watched seldom full soccer games, but there's something about the World Cup, all the countries, kind of like the Olympics. You know what I mean? So that I got the World Cup as rounding out my top 3. So
Yeah, they won it in 2022, Argentina.
yes, yeah.
So
that was a cool experience.
Yeah, I'm the same way with hockey and soccer. I want to root. I mean, I have the Stars. That's the team that I root for when I watch hockey. But I don't like. I think I can name maybe 2 players on the Stars right now.
Right.
And I would like to root for like an American football team as well, because like they have seasons and they have teams. Like it's not just the World Cup. It's not like the Olympics where they only play soccer every 4 years. Like they have seasons and they have teams
they got a
and
league.
they have leagues.
Yeah.
And so I would like. I'm the same way. I just can't get into it. But I'm like you. I would like to. So I'm going to segue into, since it is now March 5th when we are recording this. You had some takes right there, shooting bullets at March Madness, and I would just like to slap you in the face if I could, but I just can't do that through the screen. So Here's the greatness about March Madness. Okay, I'm going to give us a little preview, and then we're going to jump into our main topics. But March Madness is the greatest 3 weeks of sports in the calendar year. There is no debate. There are 67 basketball games in 21 days. Just like do that quick math. That's amazing.
Quite a
But
few.
I will agree with you that the beginning is more exciting because there's more games. There's more opportunity for excitement because there's more teams. There's upsets and things like that. And so obviously earlier on in the tournament, there's going to be more excitement. I do agree with you there. I will disagree with you that the farther on you go, the less exciting it gets, because the farther on you go, not always, but typically that's when you get like the best 8 teams or the best 4 teams. And that's when you start like, yeah, it's not a 7-game series between the same exact teams, which is pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. I do like the NBA finals. I'll make an argument for the NBA finals.
I feel like the NBA, what the NBA does better, and this is part of what makes March Madness exciting for a lot of people, is that it's winner go home, and so you don't always have the best teams in the end. You know what I mean, with the best
True.
players and all that stuff. In the NBA, usually the best players on the best teams, they're going to be in the finals, and it becomes. I mean, it's a little predictable, but it's you know what I mean. I like watching the best of the best play, and it just becomes really good basketball. I feel like when you get to
Yeah.
the NBA finals, and so
It's
anyway,
almost so predictable
right.
that it's rigged. One would make an argument, but that's a different rabbit hole.
Some have.
So here's a I guess an improvement of your statement. Your just last statement is the only time. Well, I shouldn't have said that. I just gave it away. But I was going to say, how many times do you think? So there's 4 regions, obviously, in March Madness, 4 different sections of the bracket. How many times do you think, which I already told you, only one time
Right.
all number 1 seeds have made it to the Final 4?
Wow.
And that was in 2008. So in all the years of March Madness and the bracket and all that stuff, only one time has the 4 best teams actually made it all the way to the end. So that does
Right.
prove your point a little bit about how sometimes it's not the best. But then again, you can make the argument, well, if they didn't win, then they're not the best. The best team is the one that wins. So obviously there's upsets and there's things like that go crazy. The lowest seed ever to win. What do you think it is?
Lowest seed ever to win the whole tournament?
To win the whole tournament.
What's the lowest seed?
A 16.
16. I doubt a 16 seed has ever won. Am I
You would be
in
correct.
saying that?
That's insane if that would happen. That's like low mid majors.
How about 8?
8 is the lowest. Congratulations.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, well, how about that?
That was impressive. And 8 is the lowest, which is kind of surprising to me. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be like a 12 or something like that. So for all you bracket people that like to fill them out, here's some tips for you from our friend ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the math doesn't really lie. Okay, sometimes it feels like the math lies when you're filling out your bracket, but the math doesn't lie. Okay, the highest percentage of matchups. So each matchup adds up to 17. The seed numbers. So 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, 3 versus 14, all the way down to 8 versus 9. All right. The highest win percentage is obviously the 1 seeds. Now, 3 16 seeds have now beaten a 1 seed in the past like 4 years, maybe 5 years. All right. So before that, it was 0 and 135. 1 seeds were undefeated. And here in the past 4 or 5 years, 16 seeds have come along. And I said this a few years ago, because the game of basketball is growing so much and because there's so much youth development, I think there's more skill in America. and obviously overseas too. And therefore, there's more players that are skilled. Therefore, more teams are better,
Do you
and
think?
more players get overlooked.
Mhm.
Therefore, there's more upsets, and there's more teams that should be ranked higher, but they're not because they're not a North Carolina, or they're not a
Yeah.
Duke, or their name isn't Kentucky or something like that.
Do you think
So
the speed of the game and or the amount of threes, the volume of threes that are taken these days has something to do with that at all? Or
probably,
yeah,
probably,
I would figure. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it can happen so quick, and we've seen it happen. Like, you can be down 15 with 4 minutes left, and that team can win.
Right.
Or you can be down 8 with a minute left, and that team hits 2 threes and gets a steal, and it's their ball with 10 seconds left. Like, because of this pace, because of the shot clock, because of the amount of threes that are taken, for sure, that also factors into it. But a couple of things for you bracket filler outers. According to ChatGPT, most of the upsets, because everybody always talks about the upsets, most of the upsets are 12/5. That's the one that's usually the most crazy, because here's why. Typically, not always, but typically, the 12 seeds, and this varies, obviously, 12 to 10, 10 to 12. Usually those are like the big name schools that are having a down year. Okay, so for example, North Carolina, they might not be having a 1 seed, 2 seed year, but they're still going to make the tournament as a 10 seed. And so it's still North Carolina at number 10, right? So they're playing a number 7 who is typically a less big name school that's having a really good year. And so it's kind of reliable versus the new guy.
Okay.
So a lot of times the lower seeds, 10, 11, 12, are those types of teams. Not always, obviously, but a lot of times that's what happens with the upsets. So yeah, I am thrilled for March Madness. Michigan right now is the odds-on favorite to win. So if you're a betting man, you would want to bet on Michigan. And then you've got Duke, Houston, UConn is going for their 3rd national championship in 4 years. And then you've got some dark horses like Texas Tech, Kansas. I like to throw North Carolina in there. You've got some dark horses in there as well. The one team to watch, I will say this, and then we can move on. The one team to watch for all you guys out there that are like, I want to watch somebody, I want to keep up with a team, I would watch the Iowa Hawkeyes. Okay. They have a coach that I have a connection to. I've never talked to him, but I have a connection to him. He was the coach at Northwest Missouri State in the national championship when WT played in the national championship. And so he beat us by 25 in the national championship. Then he went D1 to Drake last year, won his conference championship, and upset one. He was a 12 seed last year and upset a 5 seed. I don't remember who it was.
Oh, wow.
But Drake was, and then he got hired at Iowa this year. And so if I was a college basketball enthusiast, March Madness enthusiast, the Iowa Hawkeyes are a team that I would bet. If they're a 10 or they're an 11 or they're a 12, I'd be picking them over just about any team in the country outside of the top 10 probably. So yeah, that's kind of a little March Madness preview.
When does the tournament kick off? Is it
next? Not this next weekend, but the next. So like the 23rd ish that week. The conference tournaments are next week and weekend, and then they start after that. So Selection Sunday isn't next Sunday, but the next, if that makes sense. So
got it. All right,
get ready.
So we're getting close.
Yeah, it's March, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a good time. I know I disparaged. I didn't put it in my top 3, but I do have a good time. At times at the beginning.
Yeah,
it's fun,
man. When you get 4 games up there in your TV, and you got split screens and all these, you got two TVs going, and it's greatness, man. It's so much basketball. It's awesome.
That's good stuff. Well,
I don't have a segue.
No, me neither. because next up we're just cutting this episode right in half and doing
Yeah.
some movie reviews and book reviews and
Well, this is
TV
kind of
show reviews.
this is kind of a callback to our New Year's episode.
Yeah.
We had things that we were looking forward to in the year 2026. Whether
That's
we
true.
were reading it, listening to it, watching it, we had things that we were excited about, and you have finished one of the things you were excited about, and I am getting close to finishing one of the things I was excited about. So we're gonna review those things for you listeners, because we know you're wondering.
Right. Well,
So
we know you value our opinions more
absolutely, yeah.
than your
This
own.
is where they get their information for what to watch and what to read and what to listen to. The Yada Yada podcast.
Well, I think I'll go ahead and kick it off. And I'll kick it off with my shortest review here. As many of you know, if you've been following the podcast, I read Wuthering Heights at the end of, or in 2025, finished it near the end of 2025. And so I was looking forward to the movie. And then the trailer came out, and yeah, still looking forward to the movie, just in a different way. but yeah, I'm just going to share my quick thoughts on the movie as someone that's read the book. But yeah, biggest takeaway.
So you have or haven't seen the movie?
I have seen the movie.
Okay.
I have read the book and I have seen the movie. These are my quick thoughts on the Wuthering Heights movie. The biggest takeaway, I think, for me was that the book and the film emphasize very different aspects of the story. All right. So the core difference, I mean, the book is a lot about generational trauma, about very destructive relationships, and about two people in Heathcliff and Kathy whose identities are almost, like, in a weird way, like spiritually entwined with each other. All right. It's like, it's not just like ordinary, like infatuation. It's some kind of strange, like there's kind of even in the book, there's a bit of a metaphysical something going on, like a ghost story kind of thing. But you get the connection that there's a weird darkness that's connecting Heathcliff and Kathy. And like I said, it's about generational trauma. It's a very depressing book. But yeah, the film, on the other hand, the movie, it really just kind of presents that relationship as just physical attraction, like two people that are very infatuated with each other, very intensely, it's just a raw physical attraction. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff is what there's undertones of that in the book, but it's a book that was written in the 1800s, so they're not,
right.
It's not as explicit.
Society has changed. Yes.
It's changed a little bit. And so I think the director of the movie, or at least the scriptwriters, they certainly pulled out those undertones and put them at the forefront of the movie. So that's the biggest, my biggest takeaway. The tones are slightly different because of that. You know what I mean? It's a lot more, there's a little bit more, it's more romantic in the movie. So if you're in the mood for, date night or whatever, a kind of a twisted romance type of movie, then that's probably the one for you. It does, I mean, obviously it presents them both as pretty bad people, which is accurate to the book. So that was accurate, but yeah, a bit of just a twisted, unhealthy romance is kind of what the movie presents. I did like the visuals, though. Just speaking about the technical aspects of the movie, very vibrant, a lot of colors. Is shot in Technicolor, which for all you people that I kind of had to do some research on that. I'd heard the term before, but I wasn't quite sure what it means. But it's what they used to shoot old movies on, and so it kind of gives it that distinct color and that, like, a kind of a grainy quality that kind of takes you back into older movies. And so it kind of like Gone with the Wind-esque, think about those kinds of movies. It looks a little bit like that. But yeah, the colors, the costumes, the sets, A lot of vibrant stuff that was pretty cool. Not like I imagined when reading the book. I was thinking like dull gray colors, gloomy all the time. And the movie's not. I mean, it's gloomy, but it's not super gloomy. It's very, like I said, very vibrant. A lot of colors going on. So that was kind of cool. Not as it was gothic, but it wasn't as depressingly. As far as the visuals go, it wasn't as gothic as I thought it was going to be. Performances: Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. I thought he was pretty good. I really like Jacob Elordi in this role, and I really liked him in Frankenstein. I guess he's becoming he's kind of an up and coming actor for me as far as somebody to watch. You know what I mean? I'll probably watch some more stuff that he has going forward for sure. So I think he kind of captures the intensity that's in the book with Heathcliff and his broodingness and all that stuff. He does pretty well with that. Margot Robbie, I do like in most of the things she's in. I even liked her in Barbie, and I like her as Harley Quinn, and I really like her in one of my favorite movies of all time, which was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She plays Sharon Tate, in fictional version of Sharon Tate in that story. But I do think she's a good actress. I was not really feeling her as Kathy. She's just not how I imagined Kathy from the book. Margot Robbie is her. I don't know. She's just not my type, I guess.
She doesn't seem like from what you've said about, obviously I haven't read the book or seen the movie.
Yeah.
But from how you've described the book, and from me seeing the trailer of the movie and hearing you talk about it, it sounds like the movie wasn't depressing enough. And
Right.
I think Margot.
Soft T.
Yeah, Margot. I don't know, Margot. I don't think her persona is depressing. I don't think she fits the depressing role.
Right.
A pretty blonde lady doesn't fit that. I think it's
yeah.
So I can understand your point behind that.
Yes, absolutely. And there are some like moments where, because Kathy in the book is kind of psycho a little bit. She's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And she gets that right. I think she gets the craziness. Like when the director lets her have her scenes where she can just kind of, like there are just some moments in the movie where you're like, oh yeah, she's an actual psycho. Like that you realize that in certain points where in the book he kind of makes that clear from the get go.
Okay.
And then she's just kind of like like her mind's just unraveling the whole time. But yeah, I just don't. She just wasn't how I pictured Kathy in the book at all. I think
I can understand that.
Yeah, she might even be. I mean, I don't know. She's just. I feel like she's almost too conventionally pretty for that role. You know what I mean? Like she played. I mean, she played Barbie. That's what she's known for. She's known for being conventionally pretty.
Right.
And so I just didn't. That's just not how I pictured Kathy.
Right.
But yeah. And I could kind of see the age. I mean, there's a bit of a gap between her and Jacob Elordi, and I could kind of tell, which was a little odd. But yeah, I mean, at final thoughts, much different than the book. There's about half the book it doesn't cover. I won't go into spoilers about what half is what or anything like that. If any of you care to go see the movie and or have read the book and want to see the movie or whatever, but yeah, there's about half the book that it cuts out, which I understand why they did that, because at a certain point, Kathy and Heathcliff's relationship in the book kind of wraps up, and that's where they chose to end this movie, and that's a fine place to end it for a movie adaptation, I think. But it kind of cuts away that whole point of the book about the generational trauma. So you can't really have the same themes in the book as you can in the movie if you're only going to tell half the story. So if you want just a date night romantic movie about an obsessive romance, then that's the movie. That's the movie for you. I wouldn't watch it with your parents.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
That is the PG review.
Yeah, correct.
Courtesy of Yada Yada for Wuthering Heights, because
right,
it is not.
Yeah. It was pretty hilarious though, because walking into the theater, there was this family, and it was like I mean it was the kids and their parents. And when I say kids, these kids are, I mean, it was it was like an 80-year-old couple and their kids. So it's an 80-year-old couple and their 2 kids, which are probably in their 50s, and they come to watch this movie. And every like 20 minutes, there's a scene, and you just like, I just wanted to look back and be like, what are they doing back there, sitting right next to each other watching it? Man, but that was pretty funny. But yeah, so that's my review of Wuthering Heights, of the Wuthering Heights movie, as someone that has read the book. So
all right, it's a little different according to books.
Slightly.
The book and the movie are 2 separate things. All right, well, I'll sneak in here with my review. As you guys know, if you've been listening and you listened to our New Year's episode, I talked about the upcoming season of a show on Hulu called Paradise. Have you tuned into Paradise?
I still haven't. No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to spoil a bunch of stuff for you then, probably.
Oh, good. Appreciate it.
Not a lot, but some.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So, as I said back in the New Year's episode, it's a lot like Silo. I think you had seen Silo.
I have, yeah. First season. Yeah. I really like it.
Yeah. So it's that concept. All right. They're living underground in a bunker. This bunker is called Paradise. They're living underground in the bunker. The above world has apocalyptic events that have happened. And so now the government and the high-ranking officials and the smart scientists and the billionaires created this bunker because they knew the apocalypse was coming. And so now they're underground in Colorado in this bunker. Well, the bunker is starting to find out, okay, there's still people out there. Not everybody died. There's still life out there. There's still possibility of going back out and finding maybe if a loved one is still alive. Specifically, Xavier, who is one of the main characters. His wife sends a radio transmission, talking about how she's still alive, and so he wants to go out and find her. Okay, so season 1 ends with him basically hijacking a plane from this bunker and flying it out into the real world. All right.
Okay.
Into the apocalyptic world. That's how season 1 ends. Okay.
Gotcha.
So season 2, which
sounds
came
very
out,
Silo. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So season 2, it released 3 episodes to start. Okay, which is pretty awesome because you can binge the first 3.
That's nice.
So we're at 4 now. Okay, we're at 4 episodes. The 5th one, the season premiere, comes out Monday night, the 9th, I think. So episode 1, it goes back pre-apocalypse. All right, so it's before it has happened, and they introduced a new character. Okay, this character, her name is Annie. All right, they introduce Annie. Annie is a tour guide at Graceland in Nashville, or not Nashville, in Memphis, right?
Yeah.
Is that where Graceland's at? Tennessee.
So. Mm-hmm.
So they show what happens on the day that the world ended. Okay. Big volcano eruption, huge tsunami that literally like wipes out continents and puts them underwater, and people die. Huge cloud of ash covers the sky, and therefore the sunlight goes away and it gets really, really cold. So lots of people die. Well, she survives, obviously, and it shows her living in Graceland. She lives in Elvis's house.
Oh, wow.
In this show. So it's kind of cool.
I've been there.
Have you? I actually,
well, I don't remember it because I think I was like 4, but
I would like to go.
It was,
So other people show up. This gang of men show up, and they look kind of rough around the edges to start. And then we start to find out they're good guys, and they want Annie to come with them because they are going to the bunker. Okay. And the leader of this gang, his name is Link. All right.
Link.
So remember Link. Okay.
Got it.
He's going to come back into play. So that's kind of episode 1. She decides not to go. She decides to stay in Graceland. She doesn't want to go with them. She's kind of scared. She feels safe in Graceland and comfortable. She doesn't want to leave. Okay. Episode 2, completely different. It goes back to Xavier, all right, which is the main character that ended season 1 on a plane. So episode 2 starts with him in the plane and it's crashing. He's making a mayday call. He's talking and he's basically crashing the plane, not on purpose. The outside world is still somewhat apocalyptic and planes can't quite fly through the sky without malfunctions. And so his plane crashes and he meets this group of children who were together at a baseball, I think it was a baseball tournament on the day the world ended. All of their parents have died and they have stuck together as a clan, I guess, of children that have survived throughout this apocalyptic event.
Okay.
And this is years that the apocalypse has happened.
Yeah.
So episode 2 kind of does a backstory and shows the effect of the world ending on kids, the effect of the world ending on the environment and geography around them. And so episode 2 was a little slow, but I think it was good for emotional purposes and for showing kind of the effects of the world ending on people who survived on the outside.
Building, like world building, is building out
A little bit of a build up
the
there.
lore a little bit.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And then episode 3. So we've been out in the world pre-apocalypse.
Mhm.
We've been out in the world post-apocalypse. And now we're back in the bunker in episode 3. Okay. So we're back where it's kind of falling apart. The president has been killed in the bunker. That happened in season 1. Season 2, new president. We know who has killed the first president as the viewer, but the people in the bunker in the show don't know. All right. The characters don't know who killed. So we're following the killer. All right. I'm not going to spoil anything, but we're following the killer and their motives and their plan. And we're following a couple of other characters and how they're adjusting to life in the bunker and how they know that this Xavier guy has left and he's going to search the outside world. That's kind of what episode 3 is. It goes back into the bunker and kind of reviews what's going on there.
Gotcha.
Episode 4, I just watched earlier, right before we recorded this. And let me tell you, it was quite a tearjerker. Like, had to fast forward through parts because me and my wife were like tearing up at the show. Okay. So
That's fun.
I don't want to spoil anything for anybody out there listening. And if anybody wants to join the Paradise family, but it does have things to do with being a parent. And so me 5 weeks ago had a daughter and it's still fresh in my mind. And so babies and things that happen to babies and parents and apocalyptic worlds and scenarios, I wouldn't want that for my child. And so they do a really good job of tugging at your heartstrings in episode 4. And it was a good one. But some major things happen in episode 4. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but we see some characters that we're not going to see anymore. Some characters move on. Okay, they are no longer on the show, and there are repercussions, I guess, or not repercussions, but there are life goes on even though these characters are no longer on the show, and that's difficult for other characters. So if you haven't seen it, that probably makes no sense, but it makes a lot of sense in my mind because I know what I'm talking about.
No, yeah, I got it.
So anyway,
okay,
4 episodes so far. Episode 5, season finale, comes out, I believe, Monday. I think that's March 9th. So if you're waiting for that, that's fine, and then you can just binge all 5. But if you haven't checked out Paradise on Hulu, that is it's a show you're going to want to check out. As of right now, I think season 1 is still better than season 2. But season 2 has the potential, depending on what the season finale produces, season 2 has the potential to one-up it. And so, go check out Paradise. That was one of my TV. I think that was my number 3 TV show that I was looking forward to in 2026, and it has met the expectations. And so I'm
Man.
excited for the season finale on Monday.
All right. Well, yeah, that kind of gets me hyped up to check the show out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving into my last review. Oh, well, speaking of movies that are tough to watch as a parent, Hamnet. I did end up watching that. I don't know if I told you.
Okay, you did tell me that because I
But,
corrected you because it's Hamlet.
Right. Hamnet, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different.
That's a tough one.
Okay,
Just
I won't
crying in
watch
the
it.
theater.
Yeah.
It is awful.
Definitely won't go. Not gonna spend $18 on a nighttime movie ticket and then $20 at the concession stand and go
Right.
cry my eyes out for an hour and a half.
Yes. That was a tough one. I did
Don't
not
go see Hamnet. Got it.
Right. Unless you're just really interested in William Shakespeare. Other than that, I mean, it's
So,
fiction.
once
so
again,
you don't
don't go
you-
see Hamnet.
And also, you really don't need to have read Hamnet or know Hamnet really to watch this movie. Does it enhance the experience a little bit? Yes, of course, because you get those payoffs, and you can catch Easter eggs and things. But
Yeah.
no, it's mostly about how depressing it is to be a parent in the 1600s. So
Awesome. Sounds like my kind of movie. SpongeBob SquarePants was my number 1 animated movie ever, and you think I'm going to go see Hamnet in theaters?
Hey, I will say though, if you are a betting person, and I'm not encouraging any of you to bet, but I guarantee you this year, I'm going to call it here on the Yada Yada podcast, if I haven't already, but the lead actress, her name's Jessie Buckley. She plays William Shakespeare's wife. She will win Best Actress at the Oscars this year.
Whoa.
I'm going to call it right now.
It's March.
I know. No, I mean, okay, so for 2025, sorry. It came out, I think it technically released in 2025.
Oh, okay.
But wide release in 2026. But it's going to be, she's in the race for the 2025 Oscars. I think she might have already been nominated. I don't know if they've released that yet, but she's going to win. I guarantee you.
Okay.
So
I'm going to hold you to that.
if you want to put $1 down on Jessie Buckley to win the Oscar this year, go for it.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
We'll have to revert back to that.
Yes. But that's all I'll say about Hamnet. Because I want to spend some time talking about just one of the best books I have ever read in my entire life. Entire life. I finished it, and it is called Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry.
How many pages did you say was in that book?
850 something, 858, I think. Man,
and you started the new year?
Started at the new year.
Okay.
I finished in right before March started. So
there you go. 2 months.
2 months even, just about.
Wow.
And as soon as I finished it, I was blown away that it was over. I wanted to restart.
Wow.
That's how good of a book this is. Those 800 pages felt like nothing. I was like, we're going to end it here? Are you kidding me? But man, what a book. Like I said, it's a masterpiece. Easily one of the best books I've ever read. Definitely the best Western I've ever read. I haven't read a whole lot, but it's definitely the best Western I've ever read. Some of the greatest characters. It might be in my top 5 already. I've only read it once, but it might be in my top 5 books. Just to give you some context, what I usually look for when I'm reading fiction, the stuff that I'm often chasing is like really breathtaking prose, just like the writing style that kind of blows you away. The Shakespearean stuff. Moby Dick, Herman Melville. I mean, F. Scott Fitzgerald with The Great Gatsby. There are sentences that you read that you just want to reread because you're like, how does somebody write something that breathtaking? And that's the kind of stuff that I really enjoy. The kind of prose that kind of becomes poetry. But that style is a very like a look at this style. Like, look at me writing. I'm freaking good at it. And you can't do anything about it. And besides be in awe of my impressiveness, You know what I mean? That's what I think of when I think of Shakespeare and like Cormac McCarthy, Herman Melville, F. Scott Fitzgerald, all those people. Um, they know they're good at writing and they're flashy with it and it works because they're just that good. Um, Lonesome Dove is not that. It is the opposite of that. But
Okay.
it blows me away just as much. And here's why I preface that is because that's the stuff that I really like. And I'm telling you, Lonesome Dove might be a top 5 book for me. And so it blew me away in a different way than what I was expecting or what usually blows me away. Because Larry McMurtry's writing style, his prose is almost invisible. Like you're not in awe of his sentences. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing necessarily about the way that he writes that makes you think, wow, like let me just sit back on this sentence and think about it for a second. Like, my goodness, how do you write that? It's not like that. It's not ornate. Um, it's more effortless. It's like very natural and very propulsive. Like I'm not thinking about the writing at all. The writing style is not in my head at all. I'm just in the story. I'm in the story. I'm with the characters. I'm not stopping to admire anything. I'm just reading it. I'm just with the characters, having a great time and an awful time sometimes, but that's the strength, I think, of this book, and that's what really blew me away was just that his writing style was so like it kept you in it without
So
having. Yeah, yeah.
so it's more because I actually am interested in reading this.
Okay.
It's more entertainment than it is grammatical excellence, I guess, to sound smart.
Like it's not
It's not like King
not,
James, William Shakespeare. I
right.
mean, obviously, because it's a
Exactly.
Western, but
It's not and even like Westerns like this one right here, Blood Meridian. I think I might have read an excerpt of that one time.
Mhm.
That's a Western and it's like that Shakespearean dialogue that's like,
okay.
whoa, craziness. But impressive. But no, this is not like that at all. This is like I said, it's invisible. You're not thinking about the way he writes. You're just enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the true strength of this book, I mean, I love the writing style, but the true strength of it is in the characters. Every character is fully realized. They become human beings to you while you're reading it. I mean, you fall in love with every single one of these characters, even the ones they introduce at the beginning. You're like, who's this goofball we're with right now? I don't, let's get back to the main people, please. No, like by the time you're 100 pages in, you're not thinking about that at all. You're just like, man, what's this guy doing over here today? Oh, here we are back with him again, inside his head. And it's just, it's very cool how he is able to attach you to each and every one of the characters in this book. And he attaches you early on. So that way, it just becomes everything they do throughout these 800 and some odd pages just becomes more meaningful for each one of these characters and you're more invested. And by the end, yeah, you're just attached to everybody. They just feel like genuine, real, fully realized people. So that was, I mean, that's a great strength. I mean, the characters themselves, Augustus McCrae, who I know a lot of people have seen the TV show. A lot of people think it's, one of the best all-time Westerns or whatever. I haven't yet. I'm really interested in watching the TV show. I wanted to watch it after I read the book. And so I haven't started it yet, but I do want to watch it. But I did have Robert Duvall in my head when I was reading Augustus McCrae, just because I knew he was cast as Gus.
Yeah.
But man, reading Gus in the book and imagining Robert Duvall is just pitch perfect. I mean, they could not have had anybody play him better. It's amazing. Gus McCrae is one of the best characters I've ever read in a book. I mean, one of the best ever written. Just he's funny, he's philosophical, he's just effortlessly charming, and he's reckless, and he's cool. I mean, he's a former Texas Ranger. He's retired, and he just wants to sit on his porch and drink whiskey and slack off and go, be with the girls that he likes. And at the same time, he's the only educated person on this ranch. And the best thing about Gus is obviously his relationship with the other main character of this book, which is Woodrow F. Call. And Woodrow Call is a stoic. He is just he's a one-track mind. He wants to do his job. All he thinks about is his duty. He wants to get the job done. He's a hard worker and he's disciplined and he's emotionally shut off. You're not gonna get any emotions out of Woodrow. And in a lot of ways, neither one of these characters change at all throughout the whole book, really. I mean,
Who plays Woodrow in the TV show? Do you know?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so, yeah, imagining him as Tommy, I mean, imagining Woodrow with Tommy in mind was also pretty pitch perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're dynamic. I mean, they're complete polar opposites, and yet they're best friends, but they're always bickering. It's like, I mean, reading them, you'd think they hate each other, but you know that they love each other, because why would they be with each other for as many years as they have, 30 plus years, if they
Right.
didn't get something out of that relationship,
Yeah.
even if it's something that's negative that they just can't live without. It's very, their dynamic is very interesting. And then also the women in this book are really what I mean, the way he writes women is just very, very unique and very complex. Lori, she's one of the main characters in the book, and she's a prostitute, and it goes through the tough life of trying to make it in that profession back in, the late 1800s. And it's rough. What she goes through is rough, and not even related to her profession, but even things that she has to go through afterwards once they get on this cattle drive and the plot kicks off. It's she goes through a lot, and she's a very powerful character, and and probably the most powerful character in this whole book is probably Clara. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but you don't meet her until really later on in the book. Like, it takes a very long time before you meet. I mean, you basically have to read a whole book before you meet Clara. You know what I mean? But man, she's a very tough character, and she's able to just disarm. I mean, these guys, all these tough Texas Ranger cowboys, charming and stoic, all these guys, she can just disarm them to like so easily. And as far as their personalities goes and their confidence, she's able to just take them down a peg. And it's hilarious to watch at times, and sometimes it's gut wrenching to watch, because you're like, man, that's the captain she's talking to. How's she disrespecting him? Like, everyone's afraid of Woodrow, and then she just takes him down a peg so easily. And that's it's very cool dynamic. Like I said, all these characters, you're so familiar with them by the time this is over that you, like, at least in my case, I couldn't believe it was over. Like, I really wanted to go back to the beginning just so I could have them all back together again, before all this, craziness starts happening once they get on this cattle drive. And for those of you who don't know, the plot of the book is that these guys are retired Texas Rangers, and they work in they work in the horse business. They have a kind of a cattle ranch, but also they sell horses is their main thing.
But it takes place in the 1800s.
Right. It takes place about 20 years, I guess, after the Civil War, something like that. And so they were Texas Rangers during the Civil War. So they're protecting the border of Texas and Mexico.
Okay.
So that's their big deal. They're fighting off whatever natives and Mexicans and all this stuff. That was their job during the Civil War. Anyway, but the whole thing that kicks this off is Call gets an idea in his head from another character that he wants to go see Montana, and he wants to take a 300 or 3,000 head of cattle and do a cattle drive all the way from the border of Texas and Mexico to Montana.
That's insane.
Almost Canada in the
Can't
1800s,
imagine
just on
doing
horseback.
that.
No.
Yeah. 3,000 head of cattle.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Just the logistics of the cowboys trying to keep up with these cattle and making sure that everybody's protected. And that's not even before you get to, the wilderness aspect of it, and the bandits that might come after them, and the natives that are protecting their lands, and they don't want people crossing into their territory, and all this stuff. Yeah. And so there's just so many obstacles these characters have to go through. And Larry McMurtry wrote it I think his idea was to write a Western that kind of stripped away the myth of the Western. Like all of the stuff that had been built up by the cowboy legends and John Wayne movies and all that stuff. He kind of wanted to strip that back and just tell a realistic story of how it was back then. And in a lot of ways he did that, but I kind of walked away from the book having even more like a mythos surrounding Texas, which has been my home for my entire life. But because most of this book takes place in Texas. So that was really cool to kind of see them going through these locations that I've been to and that I live
Yeah.
in. And it was just very interesting to get that worldview from back then, you know. And like I said, though, Gus and Call, they make this book. Their chemistry makes this book. If anybody's ever, you know, read the story or know about Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, it's kind of what they're based off of. You know, the dreamer and the straight man kind of coming together. You know, that dynamic always works. And so it does carry the entire book. He's a master of dialogue. And like I said, just a master of tone and it's such a cool book, such a great ride. It does get bleaker and bleaker the further you go into it. And that's tough to read just because like I said, he attaches you to these characters. So the more stuff turns bad, the harder it is to read, but you also want to keep going in the journey just to see, can they do it? Can they get to Montana? And so, you know, final thoughts, probably a top 5 book all time for me. Gus McCrae is certainly a top 10, maybe top 5 all time fictional character from books, from literature that I've read. And it's just such a great story. I know I'm going to read it. It's one of those books where like I finished it and I know I'm going to read that again. Like I'm not going to live my whole life not reading that again. So it was a good time. I love Lonesome Dove and I can't wait to watch the TV show. So there we go.
There you go. He has completed the cattle drive himself. He has completed the Lonesome Dove.
Completed the cattle drive.
So the character that you're talking about, that's Robert Duvall in the TV show.
Augustus McCrae. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Gus.
Yeah. Robert Duvall. Yep.
Yeah. Which we talked about last episode. R.I.P. All
Mhm.
right. That like, I'm not a book. I mean, I've grown into a literature type of person. Obviously not to the extent that you are, but I do enjoy reading more than I used to.
Yeah.
And usually, and I think I've said this before, I think I said it on our book episode, Desert Island Books, but I'm more of a personal growth type book
Yeah.
reader or biographies, and I want to learn when I read. I don't necessarily want to be entertained when I read, but that's kind of changed. I've read Game of Thrones, the first Game of Thrones book. I'm reading the second one, and I've read. I read the Odyssey in high school, and obviously that's kind of a different type of that's not just entertainment. There's some grammatical stuff in there too, but I've grown into wanting, you know, some entertainment reading, and so that might be a book I tune into. It probably won't take me 2 months. It'll probably take me much longer than that.
Never know.
Because that's impressive. 850 pages in 2 months is dang impressive. You got too much time on your hands there, buddy.
It's
You need to go
neglectful
raise your
at that
daughter or
point.
something. It's what?
So it's neglectful to my family
Oh,
at that
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I try to get it all in after they fall asleep, but that's
Yeah.
hard sometimes.
Well, and you have to like I'm running into this with Game of Thrones. Like I've taken off a while,
Yeah.
but I've still got my bookmark where I left it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I pick it up a month later, I'm like, okay, where am I at? What's going
Right.
on? So when it's entertainment purposes, you do kind of have to stay on a schedule. Otherwise you're going to get confused because you
Right.
can't just
They don't have
rewind
recaps.
30 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. There's no previously on Lonesome Dove. Like you have to remember what happened. Otherwise you're reading another 100 pages to try to
Right.
remember what happened. So
I will say another thing that kind of kept me reading this at that pace that I did was the chapter length, because the chapters aren't super long. So, I mean, there's like
Okay.
100 chapters literally. And so you finish a chapter and you're like, oh man, I think I can get one more in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's one of those. So that's
That
nice.
That helps.
Yes.
I am a short chapter. I think everybody probably is a short chapter person, because when I see, because Game of Thrones is not this way, and maybe that's why it's taken me so long. When I see, all right, I've got 15 pages to read, like, golly, I got to sit down for the next 30, 45 minutes to read these. I'm not that slow of a reader, but that was an exaggeration. But I got to sit down for a while to read this book. Like, okay, I can do 3 more pages.
Yeah.
And then you can close it, and all right, I got 10 minutes here. I can read another chapter, and I can read another chapter.
Yeah.
You got to have good start and ending points in books. And so that sounds like Lonesome Dove might be on my list at some point.
Yeah.
We'll
It's one of those where like I finished it, and I had some stuff that I wanted to read afterwards, but I picked it up and I'm like, I don't want to read this. It's not as good.
It's not going to be as good. That's how I am with TV shows. Like with Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, I'm like, this is not going to be as good as those two. I don't know why I'm going to try to watch these.
I'm in a show hole. I'm in a book hole at the moment. So
yeah. All right, there you go. Episode 34 of Yada Yada. We were kind of all over the place. We're previewing some March Madness, picking some sporting events, and then recapping our New Year's, not resolutions, but our New Year's looking forward to TV show, books that we like. So that's all we got. We might see you in a week. We might see you in a month. Who knows?
Who knows? This is Yada Yada, baby.